This is the second video in the Stout Troubleshooting Challenge. The first video, which has not been published yet, I did about 1 p.m., started around 1 p.m. today. It's now almost 2:30. So this video is going to include my thoughts of what should be done to deal with this, and I'm going to delay posting this video so that you have had a chance to respond in the comments to the first video. So if you have not seen the first video yet and you want to, on your honor, do the challenge, then you could go to the end card. Just move the playhead all the way to the end, and on the end card, one of the end cards will be for the prior video, which sets up the challenge. It shows you the symptoms, and you would have the opportunity then in the comments to put your thoughts of what you think needs to be done. So this is going to be my reveal of what I think needs to be done. And I am recording this before I've had the opportunity to see the viewers' responses on the first video, because that hasn't been published yet. All right. And here, I'll go show that. I'll go show that over here. Here's the Stout playlist. I'll do a refresh on this screen, and it's not there. And over here, you see my date and time. It's still June 24th. Almost 2:30. Okay, so now because I don't have this scripted, I don't have this planned out very well, I'm going to pause the video now and then to gather my thoughts for the next segment so I can be somewhat streamlined in presenting this. So here's the first pause. Unpaused. So here's the video on my computer number 2. I'll just go ahead and launch that, and I'm going to pause it right away. So the first thing to talk about is these infection warnings over here. Turn on your antivirus. This claims to be from McAfee. Click here to activate McAfee protection. Notice right here, 10:03 a.m. So this came through at 10:03 a.m. for that computer. This video that Ken made was recorded on Sunday. The date, let's see, last Sunday. So I'll punch up my calendar here and show you how long ago that was. Today's Thursday, so this was on June 20th. And so 10:03 a.m. on June 20th is this message. And here it says hire Captcha-settle.com. Looks to me like SETTLE.com. And then here, this one, system is infected, does not say McAfee. Click here to delete viruses. 10:03 a.m. It's the same time that this notification came up. Hire Captcha-settle.com. What? It's from the same website, same application. The system is infected. Activate your antivirus to delete it. And we can barely see here. It says the same thing, 10:03 a.m. Now in a little bit, he shows us some more of these infection warnings. This is your first clue. So let me click on the play button here, and let's get to this next piece where he scrolls down a bit. I think it takes a little while before he does that, so I'm going to go ahead and click the 30-second advance. Oh, here it is. I'll pause again. Your device is at risk. Virus detected. Activate your 10:03 a.m. Hire Captcha-settle.com. Again, system infected. Click here to delete. Hire Captcha. Hire Captcha. These are all Hire Captcha. Do you think something on this computer wants you to click on one of those icons? I don't think it is infected with a virus. I think it's infected with malware. It's trying to get him to click on one of these. Once you click on one of these, then you're going to get whatever the bad effect is. Maybe it's going to be some kind of trying to get you to call a phone number or connect to some shady website to so-called disinfect your computer. But this is definitely a clue, 10:03 a.m. for every one of these notifications. This is indicating whatever's causing this to happen is live and happening since it happened on this day. Now, let me remind you, he's connected remotely to his mother's computer. He's using TeamViewer to connect to that computer, so he's not sitting at the computer. Okay, so here's another pause. Okay, that was a pause just for a few seconds to gather my thoughts. So I'm going to press Alt-Tab on my computer and go to a browser window and come up here and click to a new tab. And what was that? Hire Captcha, CAPTCHA hyphen settle, right? I think that was it. Go to that. I'll do an Alt tab back to his computer and look at that. HireCaptcha-settle.com. Now, I'm not going to the website, right? I'm just seeing what does Google say about this. HireCaptcha-settle, virus removal, pop-ups removal. So do we think that this is a bad a culprit? Oh, you betcha. You betcha. Captcha? All right. 3 days ago, 7 days ago, 2 days ago, 4 days ago. Does it sound like this is something recent? Oh, you bet. How to remove .guide. Not crazy about that. I'd rather have a .com or a .org. How to remove .guide. I don't like this .guide stuff. YouTube.com. You can watch a video. 2-spyware.com. Yeah, I think I've heard of that. Computertips.org. Feel a little more confident about that. But how about this? Malwaretips.com. Now, that's not Malwarebytes. I want something that I can have a little bit of confidence in. Reddit, yeah, maybe, because these are forums with tech people, tech support. I kind of like that. PCSafetyGeek.com. Feel a little better about that. So anyway, let's get some ideas here of what's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and poke through a few of these and not make you watch through all of them. I'll put it on pause again. Unpausing. So, okay, I looked at a few of these. This Reddit site showed a item where somebody was posing that they have the question. When you click to try to see the answer, it requires that you log in. I did log into Reddit. I have an account. And then it just failed. It came up with an error message and just flat out failed. So when I looked at this malwaretips.com, that's good. The one for computertips.org looks pretty good. So, but I don't think this is what's causing the problems on the computer for the Windows Defender failing and Windows updates for Windows Defender failing. So I'll go over and point out this one. This remove HireCaptcha-settle.com pop-up ads, virus removal guide. And it's telling us here it's a site that tries to trick you into subscribing to its browser notifications so that it can send notification spam directly to your desktop or phone. Notification spam. These messages are showing up in notifications, right? So it's saying this is how you get it. You typically get a message like this. Click allow if you're not a robot. Has the show notifications, and it's insisting that you click allow in order to use whatever website that you're at. So this is a pop-up, as I understand it, that's coming up on websites that have been infected with this pop-up. Probably not intentionally there by whatever website developer that is involved. What is HireCaptcha-settle.com? Malicious site, fake error messages, trick you into subscribing to browser notifications. Telling here you should not click on the allow button when you see such message. If you click on the allow button, you'll start seeing spam pop-ups from HireCaptcha-settle.com on your computer. So yeah, we have that. This is how the ads will look on a Windows 10 computer. So these weren't specifically the ones that were showing up for Ken, but similar idea. So coming down here, remove HireCaptcha-settle.com permission to send notifications in Google Chrome. So here we're going to settings, and then going to site settings, and then go to notifications, and then find the specific site in this list of websites. So you should find that particular website here. I'm looking real close to see install hyphen. It should be there on that list. It's difficult to see that. I'm going to hold down control button and scroll wheel in, see if I can get a better look at it. Should actually see that. Install2notify.com. Incoming. They're not showing HireCaptcha.com website there. So this install notify-service.com. Looks like they're saying to remove that. Let me go back and look a little closer at this. Come over here and move my zoom back down to 100%, and then scroll back up and read the text about that. Find the HireCaptcha-settle.com site, and then click the 3 vertical dots. Well, they're not showing that site there, so maybe they just don't have a a real example to show. Why am I seeing pop-up ads? You're seeing it because your computer is infected with a malicious site. And some more gibberish about that. You may want to read through that. And then here's some remove it. Remove redirect from Windows, from Mac, and from Android. So these, I think, are just links to go down further on this web page to get to it. So we'll just scroll down to get to that. Here they're saying doing it with Malwarebytes, so you can install Malwarebytes and let it do it automatically. I'd rather just go ahead and do it manually because it's fairly easy to do. So they're showing the installation for Malwarebytes. When you click on their link for it, they probably get some kind of a commission for it, I guess, if you wind up buying it. But let's keep going down here because there's more. Restart computer. Double check. Okay, step 2, double check malicious programs with Hitman Pro. No, I don't want to do that. Where was those other instructions? Reset the browser settings to remove. So here they're just doing a general reset, but that's still not what I want to get to. I thought I saw it here. Redirect. Okay, so I'm going to pause and find what I saw previously. Unpaused. So the other instructions I was remembering was on this other site, computertips.org. So again, here they're showing that this is how you originally get infected with this by clicking allow on this thing, asking if you're a robot. So it gives some information about shady, one of numerous shady websites, trick users, yada yada. How adware ends up on user computers, more gibberish on the subject matter. And then one of the options is to download Norton and let it take care of it for you. I'd rather just clean these up myself because they're really not that hard to do. Delete HireCaptchaSettle.com notifications permission, which is what we saw on the other website about going to the site notifications, find the HireCaptcha-settle.com and remove that notification allowance. And then scroll down more and remove HireCaptchaSettle.com from installed programs. So actually go to your installed programs, add remove programs list. I prefer Windows key R and then appwiz.cpl to get to the control panel for add remove programs. So they're saying go to control panel, programs and features, uninstall a program, and look in there to see if you find HireCaptcha listed in the programs list. And then, let's see, well, they're showing a Windows 10 method down here. So then scroll down further, delete suspicious programs from File Explorer. So they're saying going into File Explorer. So this is the environment variables. You can copy and paste this onto the command line to go to these folders and looking for any folder names that are similarly named. And then remove adware from browsers. So here they're showing from Google Chrome, and open the Google Chrome browser, go to the three-dot menu, more tools, extensions, and look for an extension. By that name, remove it. And that's probably going to take care of it. Of course, you can use one of the antivirus tools, anti-malware tools to remove it for you. Again, I think it's quicker to just go ahead and remove it manually if you're operating at that level as a technician. How to protect your PC from HireCaptcha. Get a powerful antivirus. Keep your operating system browsers up to date. Download ad blocking software. Don't click on links blindly. When installing free programs, don't rush. Now, I think this probably happened. Ken had told us that he uninstalled Super Anti-Spyware and uninstalled Malwarebytes, and that appears to have been done around the same time that these started happening. I don't know if they were already present or if this is something that happened subsequent. I suspect there was a point in time where whatever protection was in place was not up to date, was not current, and then these messages popped up and they weren't blocked. I wouldn't be surprised that a current up-to-date Windows Defender would have prevented that from happening in the first place. Don't know that for sure. Okay, so here I'm going to pause and gather my thoughts for the next segment. So here I'm going to continue in this video. I think we've covered this aspect here to get rid of that stuff. I don't think that's what's blocking Windows Defender, but it could be, meaning after he uninstalls those components, then try doing Windows updates again and see if it's fixed. So here we're on to the next segment. Yes, you ought to be on private network, but I don't think that's what's causing the problem. What private network does is allows you to share resources that are attached to this computer. So other computers on the network can use the resources that this computer makes available, such as maybe a shared printer, or maybe if you share a folder on this computer to other devices. I suspect that this is like the only computer in the network, so it's kind of irrelevant that it's on public network. The intention behind public network is that when you have a laptop in a Starbucks or whatever, you connect to a Wi-Fi, you want to say that this is a public network that prevents other computers that are on that same Wi-Fi from being able to access your computer. And Windows updates tend to, sometimes, will switch a computer that's on private network, it'll switch it to public network, and that can mess up the situation in an office environment, and I commonly find that happening. So now we'll move forward. I'm going to skip forward 30 seconds. So let's see. Yeah, here's, so here's he demonstrating how quickly the scan starts on his computer. And I'll come back here a little bit to refresh your memory on his mother's computer. Here he tries to do a quick scan.
That should have started by now. That's an immediate, that's less than 2 seconds, and that starts.
So this is where he knows something is wrong with the way that Windows Defender is operating. Here he demonstrates on his own computer.
4 seconds, and it started.
And it starts right away. This doesn't show me anything else as far as what to fix, except that Windows Defender is broken. So new user account, nothing in here. He creates a new user account, makes it an administrator. I commented in the prior video about those questions, so I'm going to skip forward because nothing here about what I think Ken needs to do. So here's those settings in Windows Defender. I'm backing up. Real-time protections turned off. It's grayed out. He can't get to it. So here we have something coming up. We've got this, as he scrolls down, where it says, this setting is managed by your administrator. So I want to put in some content here for how to fix that. I'm going to pause to gather my thoughts. And resume recording. So this message about your settings are managed by, let's see, this setting is managed by your administrator. Another alternative wording that sometimes happens is this setting is managed by your organization. In either case, it seems to be that group policy editor is where the fix for that is going to lie. Now, Ken's mother's computer is Windows 10 Home. That doesn't have group policy editor. You can't just go to gpedit.msc and get into it. So it's Windows 10 Home. So I did a Google search, policy editor, Windows 10 Home. I looked through a few of these links. The one that I like most is majorgeeks.com. This one for answers.microsoft.com. I thought, I want to see what Microsoft says, but this is just a forum, and they actually referred the questioner to Major Geeks. So here I have the Major Geeks site open. And any site that you go to, one of the other sites, for instance, I scrolled all the way down to the bottom and there were no comments from people. Here on MajorGeeks.com, there's a bunch of comments. There's a bunch of people saying that it worked fantastically. Going down a little bit further, and let's see, missing, although it's installed, can't find, can anyone help? The bat file worked fine. Many thanks, that worked. Thrilled it worked for you. So there's some questions being asked in here, some answers being given. A lot of this worked responses. So scrolling back up to the top. So here is a method 1, and this is a common thing where there may be multiple methods. So get a bird's eye view of what the site is telling you. Here's method 1, batch file and PowerShell. Scrolling down, there's method 2, manually install. And then we get a method 3, use Policy Plus. So Policy Plus, which is interesting, but it's not the direction I think I'm going to go. It's a portable app. I like that, but I'm concerned that it might be missing some things, and I saw some things in the comments that might kind of support that. So that's not the direction I'm going to go, because I'd like to actually go into the group policy editor itself. But this is a portable app, so I like that. Now this is on from MajorGeeks.com, and I've come to rather trust them. Some of the other search results that we saw were sites that I don't know. So what I'm going to go for is this batch file in PowerShell. So it's downloading a batch file and then running that as administrator. So here is this link to download. Now, my computer number 2 is Windows 10 Pro. Computer number 3 is Windows 10 Pro. My streaming computer is Windows 10 Home. I don't want to do it on that computer because that's where I'm doing the recording. So what I'm going to do is connect to the laptop I have in the kitchen, which is Windows 10 Home. I'm going to pause while I get that connection set up. Unpaused. So here I'm connected to the laptop that's over in the kitchen. I'll do a Windows key R WinVer just to show you. It is Windows 10 Home. And I did a Google search for the group policy editor on Windows 10 Home and went to the Major Geeks site. So then here I'll scroll down to get that. I got advertising on this site, and that's something that you get when you go finding solutions to things on tech sites, is you get advertising all over the place. So here's Add Group Policy Editor. So this is the download. Left click on that. And that takes me to, here's a download button. Now here you got to be careful with these to click on the right thing, because sometimes it's really difficult to perceive that a download now button is actually an advertisement. Click here to repair, restore missing Windows files. So that's a different thing, right? That's not what we're after. A few possible ways to install group policy. This is basically a rewrite of the same thing, it looks like. Here's click to download, recommended editor's pick. That's an advertisement. That's definitely not what we want. So I think it's that one at the top there, right click G. So this is the instructions of what to do. And go back up here. So it looks like this is the download now button. So looking closer to judge that, yep, I think that's it. So there's a click. Downloading Add Group Policy Editor to Windows 10 Home. So that confirms it. It's a batch file. If is a batch file that does all the work for you, and no more advertisement. All right, well, let's go check and see what I've got for pop-ups. And more tools. I'm not even clear on where that is. I hardly ever go looking for that. I'm going to pause here and unpause. Timer's gone. Okay, so here's a pop-up down here that has the word Edge. I don't have Microsoft Edge open right now, but anyway, so I'm going to come up to a new tab. I'll come up here to the kebab menu, the 3-dot menu, go to Settings, and then go to Privacy and Security, and then go to Site Settings, and then scroll down to Permissions, Notifications. I'm going to click on Notifications, and then here is Sites can send notifications block. That's not what I want. Pausing. Unpausing. So scrolling down further to pop-ups and redirects. Click on that. And then here, blocked, recommended. See, the slider is to the left. You might think, well, that means it's turned off, right? No, you click on that, and now it says allowed. So with this on the left, that means blocked. So pop-ups by default are blocked. Yet I'm still getting a lot of pop-ups from this site. Notice here there's no sites in this blocked section. So I'm going to click Add. And then I'm going to come up here to this Major Geeks site. I'm going to click in their address bar, press Control-C to copy that. Come back to this tab, and then click on this field, Control-V to paste. So I want to block that pop-ups on that site. Click add and we'll see if that fixes it. So then there's no save option for this page. So I'll just leave that open and then come back here. I'm going to go ahead and close this one and then see how that does for us. So here we're at, let me go back to this enable group policy. This is Major Geeks. And then do this group policy editor. Oh, it already downloaded. Okay, I don't need to do that again. So here it's already downloaded. I'll click on that menu button and then show in folder. I like to move things to a more appropriate location. So I'll right click on this and then click cut. And then I'm going to move it to a folder that I call resource files. I'm not going to choose a specific folder to put that in. I'm just going to go ahead and put it in at that level. So I'll right click in the blank area and choose paste. If I could, it won't let me choose paste. How come? Let's see, there's no paste there. What did I do wrong? Let's go back to downloads and show in folder. Right click and cut. Alt tab to go back to my resource folders. Right click and there's paste. I must have done something wrong with my paste. So here it is down here, add group policy to editor window. Now this is actually on the laptop. I gotta remember that, right? Yeah, it's on the laptop. So then I'll right click on that and let's do extract all. And that's going to extract that all to a folder, add group policy. All right. And then there's this batch file. So I need to right click and run as administrator. Now at one point it said that we'd do it with PowerShell, but I don't think the instructions actually told us that, did it? Come back down here, run as administrator. So they're just right clicking on the desktop and run as administrator. I thought somewhere this said PowerShell. Yeah, group policy home with PowerShell is a batch file. It does all the work for you. Batch file. Doesn't tell us to do PowerShell, so I'm going to try it without PowerShell. And then Alt Tab to come back to here, right click and run as administrator. That looked like Windows Store. Oh yes, because it has to download an element. Isn't a Microsoft verified app. Installing apps from the store helps protect. Change my app recommendation settings. Oh, you know what? I changed the setting on that computer to make it only run in-store apps. Install in-store apps. I was just testing that. So I'm now going to change that to anywhere. And then there's no save option for that. We'll close that. And stop that noise. Stop that noise. It's supposed to stop when I touch it. It didn't. So let's try that again. Right click and run as administrator. Answer yes to the user account control. And then here it goes. Adding package, Microsoft group policy, client extensions. I have no idea how long this will take to install this. Now this is using the Deployment Image Servicing and Management tool, DISM. Can use that tool in trying to repair the computer. So this is actually using DISM to do this. Now that website also has manual steps for doing all this. I trust the batch file method from majorgeeks.com, and the manual method is going to take a lot of time. But if you're interested in that, you can go read the instructions for it. Adding package, Microsoft Windows Group Policy, Client Tools. So there's processing 1 of 1. These are apparently different elements that are installing. And then down here we have press any key to continue. So I press the space bar. Now I'm still connected remotely to the laptop in the kitchen. And I believe the next step is just to go ahead and run policy editor. Going to take a quick look at this and be sure. Now this is that page that it took us to download. I'm going to go back to the prior page and get the rest of the instructions. Right click, run as administrator. You see the text scroll, the tweak is included. It doesn't actually tell us there. So I'm going to do Windows key R, gpedit.msc, if memory serves me right, may be wrong. gpedit. I'm going to pause and find what I did wrong there. And unpausing. Now scrolling down lower, we'll find the solution. It looks like this method 3, at the bottom of this method 3, there's a section called troubleshooting. So troubleshooting doesn't belong to method 3. Troubleshooting is in regards to all of these methods. If you couldn't get group policy working, here's some troubleshooting steps. Reboot the computer. While reboot might not be required, some users reported that it works after rebooting. And then here's another option, copy some files and folders. It appears that on 64-bit versions of Windows 10 Home. What? You mean it works more smoothly on 32-bit? All right, typing in gpedit.msc. So I had the command right, doesn't work. Go to this folder, copy the following files and folders, so on. MMC could not create the snap-in. In rare cases, some people receiving this message, I didn't get that message, so I'm not going to try that. I think before I restart, I want to take a look at this. So I'm highlighting that, press Control-C, and then Windows key R, Control-V to paste that, and see if those files and folders are there. Group policy users, and gpedit. Okay, so scrolling down, group policy users, and gpedit. So I'm going to double click to go in those. Previously I had seen that these do exist in the syswow64 folder, but previously I did not find this GPT file. So then they want us to copy these to System32. So while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and highlight both of those, press Control-C. The other thing they want us to do is gpedit. So I'm going to click on the next folder name and then search for gpedit. Actually, I'm just going to type GP. And that should get me down to find, yes, there are a couple of gpedit, but not the one that they asked for, because I think they said gpedit.msc. gpedit, I don't see .msc there. So still a reboot might do it, but I'll go ahead and paste those folders to the Windows System32 folder. So clicking here on the Windows folder to go back up to that level, click on one of these and then type SYS to get me down to System, and then there's System32. I'll double click on that, right click out here in the blank area and choose Paste. So that would copy those. That's interesting. Destination already has a file named gpedit. Okay, so I'm going to skip that one. And it looks like it did copy the other one. So this, yeah, it looks like it copied that group policy. So now I'm going to try Windows key R and gpedit. I don't think this is going to work. I don't think I've done enough yet. And, oh, it does. Wow, just, okay. Fascinating. I never did see the gpedit.msc file. Good enough. I'll take that. So then what we're after here is to fix the settings for Windows Update. Now, I'm working from memory here. Expand administrative templates and then expand, I want to say Windows components, and then Windows Defender is what we're trying to fix. Yeah, that doesn't look right. I'm going to pause and go look that up again. And unpause. So I wasn't off by much. Instead of Windows Defender, it's up here Microsoft Defender, because that's a difference, right? And then here are the policies for Microsoft Defender antivirus. And then which one of these was it? Okay, I'm going to pause again and find my place in here. And unpaused. Okay, so the one that looks most likely here is real-time protection. Since we can't turn that on, all of these should say not configured. If any of these say configured, when you double click on any one of these, you get your choices of not configured, enabled, or disabled. So they should all be not configured. So if Ken doesn't find something in here, then just go down through these one at a time. They don't take very long. Here we should see all not configured. Here we'll go to this one, should be all not configured. Now let's see, can I do down arrow? If I click over here, down arrow, yeah. So just down arrow through these. If you clicked over on the left-hand column and you got that kind of light green, blue, and just go down arrow through them looking for not configured. Now here, this one is the only one that has an expansion. So go take a look at these, make sure everything is not configured. And so these things get configured by virtue of installing a third-party antivirus, or they get configured by virtue of some kind of malware. But most likely, I think it was a third-party antivirus. So it doesn't take long at all to click through those. Okay, so I'm going to pause and set up the next segment. And unpause. So the next section, there's no save operation here. So you just close Group Policy Editor when you're done with it. Now this, let me come back to here. Okay, with the Google search, Windows Defender managed by administrator. And this search was actually including GP Edit. One of the hits here was this windowsreport.com. So I have that open on this tab up here, windowsreport.com. So this includes the instructions for the GP Edit on their website, similar to what we've already done. But here's another option that they have is in regedit. We'll go take a look at that. This is use regedit and go to this path right here. Now, I don't think we can actually copy and paste in regedit. So I'm just going to go to Windows key R and then type regedit. Answer yes to user account control, and then holding down the Windows key, press right arrow key, and then let go of the Windows key, and then click on this website that we are at. So I can have them both visible at the same time. So H key local machine is right here. Expand that section, expand software, expand policies, and expand Microsoft, and expand Windows Defender. Actually, I think just single left click on Windows Defender would do it. And what they're saying to do here, when I scroll down, let's see, it popped up a picture. I'm going to try that again. Scroll down. They say delete the value in the disable anti-spyware key. So inside this Windows Defender, there is no disable anti-spyware key. When I click on this policy tab, Policy Manager key, there's also nothing there. So this computer doesn't have that. And it's because there's never been a third-party anti-spyware or antivirus program on this computer. But that's another place to check. I'm going to pause and set up the next segment. And unpause. So I'm back to the video now. By the way, for regedit, just exit. There's no save operation there either. And by the way, I did not have to restart that computer to get into Group Policy Editor. So I'm just going to play through the rest of this here. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to. Let's see. So here's those. Oh, here's something I want to mention. This feature update that installed successfully on June 12th. So that meant feature updates were working back then, and I think we see that the Windows Defender updates were also working back then. So I'm thinking something happened between that date and now. So another place to go look at is in Add Remove Programs to see if there was any other software installed during that time. And to do that, I'm going to press Windows key R and then appwiz.cpl gets into Add Remove Programs. So here you can sort based on date. Usually this will by default be sorted by the name column. This little arrow up here in the middle of that column title says we're sorted in order by that. So I want to sort in order by date and see if there's anything installed on or after that date when Windows updates were working, and be very suspicious of that. Also, sorting by name, just scroll down this list and see if there's any programs there that just don't seem right, that they don't belong, and uninstall them if you determine that they are that they don't indeed belong there, particularly of course if they look like they are the culprit. So that's the computer in the kitchen that I'm remotely connected to. I'll do Alt-Tab to get back to the video and move forward. So here was that 612, 612, 612. Those all worked. And then he scrolls down and gets to the Windows Defender section. And I think we did see...
One that didn't fail to install was the Defender antivirus. Okay?
And those are definitions.
Again, what I'm leaning toward to do.
Okay, so the definition successfully installed on June 9th. That's quite a gap. Definitions install pretty frequently, making me think, was there something as far back as June 9th?
Install was the Defender antivirus. Okay?
Something back as far as June 9th that was causing a problem to Defender updates. Okay, so at one point Ken asked, do I need to back up the hard drive and install Windows Fresh? Well, the next option before doing that would be to download the installation ISO for the current version of Windows 10 and install that on top of the existing installation as an upgrade installation. Now, I don't really think that would fix these settings. Like if there is a policy editor configured setting, I don't think installing an upgraded version would change that, because it should keep prior settings. So I'm not totally certain that that's going to fix the current problem, because I think the current problem is mostly that Adware thing throwing up those phony messages. I don't think that's the problem with Windows Defender or Windows updates, and the whatever residual there is from the antivirus software. So let's move forward on this video and see if there's anything else that I've forgotten that I want to mention. Activation, no. This has just a minute 52 seconds. He does this system file checker scan. There's nothing there I need to comment on, except the fact that he doesn't tell us what happened. I would like to know what happened with that. Did it give a failure message or an error number or anything like that? And now he's trying the Windows Update again. And also the Windows Update, we don't know that Windows Update is broken. We only know that Windows Defender updates are broken. So if he goes in and does the most recent cumulative update for Windows, will that work? And that'll give us a clue whether Windows Updates is broken or is it just Windows Defender is broken. I think it's just Windows Defender because of these grayed out options. I think that's what the main source of the trouble is. So, and then here he does the DISM. I'm not really interested in anything there, except again, he doesn't tell us what the failure is, whether there was a failure error message or error number, anything like that. So skipping forward there, this is almost done. This managed antivirus. Okay, I'm gonna set up this next segment. I haven't even searched for that yet. Pausing. Unpausing. Okay, so this isn't a big deal. Managed antivirus, it's showing us here that it was in the program data directory folder, and it was deleted on June 20th, which is the date that he's actually doing this work. And he already told us that he uninstalled Bitdefender. So I'm going to Alt-Tab over here and show that I did a Google search managed antivirus folder in program data. And that led me to this one called, let's see, it's in documentation.n-able. Yeah, so it was the first one here. And it is actually to cleanly uninstall managed antivirus Bitdefender engine. So this is actually a component of Bitdefender. It's already in the recycle bin, so not concerned about that. So I think that is the end of the video and the end of my comments. So there's my recommendations to Ken. The one thing that I didn't go into here, and is still a valid piece if there's still a problem, is the next level would be sysinternals and auto runs. The auto runs application in there to see what is automatically running. I don't feel that that's going to be a strong element now, because I think we've got the solution of those notifications, those false notifications from that Adware criminal. Yeah, nuisance criminal. Okay, so I think that's it. The setup for this was the first, or the prior video was demonstrating the symptoms, what I knew about it. This video is my response, my guidance to Ken. And we do know that his mother's uses of the computer are fairly simple. So doing a fresh install of Windows would have been completely justifiable in the beginning of this. But to further our education, our ability to troubleshoot and resolve problems, this exercise is really useful and valid, and I enjoy this anytime somebody offers this. So I think Ken's going to go work on the computer. We might be doing a live stream with me being able to be involved in that, most likely on Saturday, if that happens. We don't know that for sure yet. So I think that's the end of this. I hope this was useful. I'm going to go post that first video now, and it's not posted yet. So I hope this was useful. Have a great day. Catch you later. Goodbye.